An update on the Rusev situation that we should talk about. What's up, guys? Thanks to everybody who enjoyed Corrupted Podcast on Saturday night. We had a really goddamn epic episode on Saturday night of Corrupted Podcast. Thank you to all the patrons. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Thanks to everybody who listened live, but thanks to everybody who's a $2 patron who also downloads the episode onto their phones. Good 1 hour, 40 minutes of real good fun. Okay, so let's talk about Rusev now. And that, look at that square beard in this picture. This is an update. Now, we talked about Rusev leaving the company possibly, and if you missed that video, go watch that video. But now he's also saying goodbye to Aid in English on Instagram, which, I mean, it feels like they're playing with us here as far as Rusev goes. This is probably a... let's assume that this is not him leaving the company, that this is him going to Raw, right? So Rusev probably is going to Monday Night Raw, and that's what he's talking about when he says goodbye to Aid in English. He did remove all the WWE stuff from his Twitter and everything, but I think they're playing a little bit here to get him to come to Raw. Now, how is it going to be Rusev Day if he goes to Raw, though? That's my question. Will there be some kind of push for Rusev on Raw? Or are they going to get rid of the Rusev Day thing and then just add Rusev to Raw like he used to be, like old Rusev, like real serious old Rusev is back and he's by himself. And there's no Aid in English because there's no Aid in English to say Rusev Day. Well, then there's no Rusev Day, right? But they have the Rusev Day t-shirts, so maybe they're just going to go with Rusev Day, but Rusev says it on his own, I suppose. But what if they don't do that? What if they do the old Ty Dillinger way of things, or Wade Barrett way of things, or Zack Ryder way of things, or Damian Sandow way of things, which is once a mid-carder somehow gets himself over with something, or the crowd sort of helps them get something over. Once that happens, they acknowledge it kind of for a second, and then after that, the burial begins, right? That's how the pattern has gone every other time. So will Rusev now come to Raw with his Rusev Day gimmick, but there's no guy to say Rusev Day, so they're not saying it, so they're sort of pushing it under the rug while leaving the t-shirt on him so they can sell the t-shirt, and then feeding him to somebody like Samoa Joe or Strowman and using him in that sort of capacity? Because it would seem to me, if you're splitting up Aid in English, to put Rusev on a show, it would be to basically expose him and use him as garbage. Or it's to relaunch him and make him a #1 guy, which if you guys listened to my Roman Reigns video before this, which, by the way, only 2,300 people heard, so if you missed that video, both videos I'm going to link at the end of this video, because you got to watch both of them. If WWE does what I've been saying for weeks now, which is turn Roman Reigns heel in Saudi Arabia, he wins the title, he comes back to the U.S., he says the Saudi Arabian people actually cared, and the people in the U.S. Suck or whatever. Everybody's too worried about their phones and social media. Well, then Rusev could be a guy who takes on the USA persona and says, I live in Nashville now and all this stuff. I loved America so much I ended up staying. At first, I didn't like this place. He's like, and I think what you're saying is bullshit. And then Rusev were to go up against Roman. I mean, you could have some real money there with a guy that is over as a face. And Roman could beat him in the end, too, if you wanted. You know what I mean? But instead, I feel like he's just going to be there like a background guy to take the pinfall for Strowman or Roman or somebody, Samoa Joe, whoever else. Assuming Roman stays on Raw. I'm assuming Roman does stay on Raw, though, and doesn't go to SmackDown. So what will it be? What will happen if Rusev isn't leaving the company but is going to Raw? What will happen? I think I laid out all the scenarios there. Will Rusev phase out and fizzle out and be fizzled out and dwindled out by WWE on Raw? Which is what they normally do, so my money's on that one. Or is it #2, Rusev will actually receive a push as a face on Monday Night Raw? Or will it be option #3, which is he leaves the company. Or maybe he'll stay on SmackDown. Maybe it'll be a big swerve, and he'll stay on SmackDown with AidZ English, and the whole tweet and everything else he's been saying. AidZ English is all BS. Or maybe AidZ English is going to Raw, and Rusev is staying on SmackDown. I think it might be smart to get Rusev over to Raw, because I don't think Raw has a ton of people that people are really cheering stuff for. On SmackDown, you've got AJ and, I don't know. I guess it could go whatever. I hate the shakeup, and I hate what's about to happen, because it's always a scapegoat for the writers and the bookers. And in the end, what I see on my week-to-week television as far as WWE, Raw, and SmackDown is subpar, and that's too bad. Anyway, my name is Joe Cronin, guys. I hope you guys like the show. I hope you guys like my commentaries. I hope you guys like what we talk about here. Please follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter right now. I'm going to follow everybody back that follows me today if I can. And try to tweet me and shit like that. At Real Cronin on Twitter. And become a patron. Don't miss out on Saturday's episode of Corrupted. It was great last Saturday. You get about 10 hours a week almost. Sometimes 5 to 10 hours a week of bonus content a week on Patreon if you become a $5 patron. And we could use the support. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Thank you to everybody who signed up on Patreon this week. It was a huge hit, and I appreciate that. We're going to be playing your phone call messages, too, coming up next. That's a video I'm going to be making soon, or I'll be working on the next. Don't know when it'll go up. John Z, thank you for becoming a $10 a month patron. What's up, everybody? Here's those videos. On the left is my Rusev video you might have missed. It got the same thumbnail as this one. Don't get confused. Click the left one if you want to see my original Rusev news. Click the right one if you want to see what I think about Roman Reigns, why and how he could turn heel. I could be wrong, but that's just my thoughts and my opinions. Hope you guys subscribe down below and hit that bell. Also, don't miss me live on my other channels, youtube.com/JCS Gaming, which is Battle Royal Battalion, and youtube.com/Corrupted Podcast. Subscribe to all 3 of my major YouTube channels. Become a patron. Get into Twitter. If you're crazy about hearing content and audio, be a part of everything. Thank you, guys.